attractive, no scent, right? Vanilla is a scentless flower, and no nectar associated with it. So there's nothing to draw a natural pollinator into actually pollinate it. All right, so the only way is by hand. Now, before anyone asks me, there is a natural pollinator. It's called the Melipona bee. It's found in Central America, okay? It is the only bee that is attracted to the vanilla flower, right? And the vanilla flower is one of the only flowers that pollinates, so there's a special relationship there. Anyway, vanilla flowers can be self-pollinated. I don't need to take pollen from a male flower and move it to a female flower. Everything the flower needs to be pollinated right there on that one flower. I take this center frilly petal right here, I pull down, bring up the stamen right there. One long tube, right, starts at the base of the flower, runs up to the top. At the top of that stamen sits the pollen sac, which has the pollen inside of it. And that sits just like literally right over the tube, all right? It's only separated by a flap, right? That flap is called the rostellum. So my job is to get the pollen out of the pollen sac and into that tube. So what I do is pull this petal down, grab the stamen, I very gently squeeze, pushing the pollen sac out so I can access it. That's all I'm doing. I then grab the pollen sac and squeeze again, pushing the pollen right here out of the pollen sac, out into my thumb. I then very gently take the pollen sac, pull it off the flower, throw it on the ground. I don't need it anymore. I still have the pollen in my thumb, right? Just that little white piece of pollen. I then make my shaga. I take my pinky finger, and that rostellum, right, that flap is covering the entrance of that tube. So I lift the rostellum up with my pinky finger. I hold it open with my thumb and forefinger in my opposing hand, and then very gently take the pollen in my thumb and brush it into the entrance of that tube. All right. Gravity will handle the rest. All right. I'll release the rostellum. The rostellum will fall close over the tube. The pollen will start to fall towards the base of the flower. Once it hits the bottom, successful pollination. The flower will close, go to the stem, and the stem will actually turn into vanilla. 500 times a day. I gotta do that individually. All right. So.